Το βίντεο. Πάμε βίντεο τώρα. Το βίντεο είναι πλέον αναπόσπαστο κομμάτι των social media. Επιλέξαμε λοιπόν να προσκαλέσουμε τον Jon Mowat, έναν βραβευμένο βίντεο expert με προϋπηρεσία στο BBC και σε πολλά άλλα μεγάλα brands, για να μας αναλύσει τι απαιτείται για να δημιουργήσει κανείς brand-changing video campaigns. Λοιπόν, video has taken over marketing, but how do brands do it well? By Jon. Jon, welcome you on stage.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello, everyone. Good afternoon. Good morning. I'm sorry that my Greek is not good enough to be doing this in Greek, so I'm sorry about the first English of the day. But it's very nice to meet you all. Thank you very much for having me. We're going to have some fun today. We're going to learn some cool stuff. So let's start at the beginning. This is me. This is me and my daughter, Florence, and my son, Spencer. And we like to go on holiday together, and we have a camper van. And this camper van is really good, but my kids are growing. They don't fit in my van. So the question I had, the question I wanted as they were getting bigger was, how am I going to keep taking my kids on holiday? Then into my Facebook feed, I got a video about this thing called the Sky Camp. And it's a tent that goes on top of your van. And it's cool. And I was immediately like, I could see the holidays that I was going to have with my children. But then I wanted to go and see what it was like. So I went on Instagram and I started looking at all the different pictures of it. Then I thought, this is a €3,000 per purchase. I'm not just going to do this randomly. So I went onto YouTube and I wanted to know, do I want this product? Should I pay for it? And there I saw some really good interviews with the founders of the company. I saw some great background information, like this can survive in high winds. So it convinced me that I wanted to buy it. So yes, I'm ready to buy it. Then I find out that the Sky Camp was actually on Kickstarter. And the only way you can get it is by being in a queue and you had the sort of bid and all the rest of it. So I really, really wanted these. So I got massive FOMO that I wasn't going to get one. So midnight, because it was on sale in America, midnight I sat there and I had to bid for it. And I got the second one in the world because I'm a total nerd. It was very exciting. And I was just there like that. I got the second one in the world. Now, the really interesting thing is they needed $500,000 in order to make this Kickstarter work. And in the end, they got 2.4 million in 2 days. And there's a reason for that. But anyway, I've got my van. There's me in Devon. It's lovely. And then I got an email. And the email said, hey, you should buy one of these. So I bought one of those as well. And the thing is, right, what they did is they made me aware. Then they gave me some consideration content. They made me think about it. Then they drove me to conversion and they drove me into a retention. But more importantly, they did something. They talked to my emotion. Aspirational. They made me feel I wanted these things. Fear of loss. I thought I might lose some money, so they answered these questions. FOMO. They made me feel like I was not going to get it. And in the end, they gave me a sense of belonging because I had it. So that process is exactly what video marketing is all about. That is what we're going to be talking about today. We're talking about how video can deliver brand growth with multiple pieces of content across specific audiences and across multiple platforms. Now, video marketing is going to sit into everything else you do, and it's very much video is a part of everything. But what we're going to do today is talk about video as a very specific approach. So this is what we're going to do. We're going to do why video works, if we have enough time. And I'm going to give you some models to help you understand how to plan better. And then I'm going to help you make better content, right? Because there's room for the marketers. We all make videos. We all make content. Let's make it better. But who am I? Why on earth am I talking about video? Well, I was at the BBC for 16 years. I did documentaries on BBC One, BBC Two. I went to Iraq and got shot at and thought, I don't want to be in the BBC anymore. So I set up a company called Hurricane. We are a video marketing agency. We work with lots of cool brands. And I've written 2 books on video marketing. So I'm a total nerd. Not in Greek yet, I don't think, but we're working on it, working on that. Okay. Why video works, right? We've all seen videos. We all know we kind of engage. We sit there and we get sucked into TikTok or we get sucked into YouTube Shorts. And there's lots of reasons why videos work. There's the fact that you can touch it and you can hold it and there's dopamine release and all that sort of stuff. But we've only got 20 minutes. So I want to drill down on the most important thing about why video works. And that is potentially, or basically, because it makes us feel. And when we can get people to feel things, we can make a difference. So we're going to run a little test. Everybody think how you're feeling now, right? There's a strange English bloke talking. You might be a bit stressed. You might be a bit nervous, whatever. Think about how you are now. We're going to watch a video, and then we're going to come again. How are we feeling? Okay, it's quite a lot. It's 92 seconds. 92 seconds to completely change a room. So what happened there? Well, we all had some kind of emotional effect, didn't we? Some kind of distress, some kind of empathy. We certainly wanted to end child marriage. We were willing to do something very quickly about it at the end there. But what actually happened to you to reach that distress and empathy? Well, you had a chemical reaction. We got a massive hit of cortisol, oxytocin, dopamine, serotonin, GABA, adrenaline. Your body was flooded with these kind of neurochemicals, which is what makes us feel. When we watch a video that hits our emotions, we have a big dump of brain chemicals and it changes the way we think. And because it changes the way we think, it actually changes the way that we behave. And as marketers, that is exactly what we're trying to do. And this has been really, really well studied by a guy called Dr. Paul Zak, who's written a really good paper called Empathy, Neurochemistry, and the Dramatic Arc. And in this study, what he did is he told this really powerful story of a boy called Ben. Ben's about 3 years old. Ben's dying of cancer. And it's a story about the relationship between him and his dad. And it's too powerful to show at a conference. It's like, it's too much, so I don't show it. But what he did is he tested blood chemistry in people who were going to watch the video before. Then he tested blood chemistry after, and he looked at the difference in blood chemistries before and after watching this video. And then he did a number of tests in the laboratory. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to let Dr. Paul Zak tell you in his own words what happened. And this is a little bit quieter, so might need to turn this one up.
We began doing other studies on this story. So we took blood before and after, and we found that the brain produced two interesting chemicals. One is called cortisol, which focuses our attention on something important. So cortisol correlated with our sense of distress. So the more distress you felt, the more cortisol you released, and the more you paid attention to that stimulus. The second chemical release is called oxytocin, which is associated with care and connection and empathy. And oxytocin was correlated with people's sense of empathy. And the more oxytocin they released, the more empathic they felt towards Ben and his father. Now, we did something different after this experiment. We gave individuals a chance to share money with a stranger in the lab. And indeed, those who produced both cortisol and oxytocin were more likely to donate money generously to a stranger they couldn't see in the lab. In another experiment, we gave individuals a chance to donate money to a charity that works with children who are ill. And indeed, those who released oxytocin and cortisol donated money to this charity. In fact, the amount of oxytocin release predicted in both cases how much money people would share with a stranger or with charity. What we're seeing is that this narrative is changing behavior by changing our brain chemistry.
And that is what we're looking to do. We want to change behavior by changing brain chemistry. Whenever we show an amazing piece of content, we want people to feel stuff, we want their brain behaviors to change, we want their behavior to change. okay? But that's what we're looking to do. We're looking to make emotional connections. We want to tell powerful brand stories, but we do want to change behaviors. And normally what happens here is, oh, well, let me just make sure I've got the right slide there. Okay, normally what happens is people will say, well, that's fine. You know, you're doing a charity about child marriage. There's lots of emotion in there. But everybody has what we call emotional drivers. There are loads of emotional drivers that you can put into your content. And typically, if we think about emotional drivers, we're thinking about being happy or sad or disgusted or angry. And if you can sell your product by making people disgusted, you're doing very well. But normally we would stick to like being happy and angry. Okay. Typically, the kind of places we're looking at is how can we make people feel confident or respected with our content or courageous. That's really good. But on the other side, how do we make people maybe feel anxious? If you think back to my tent top thing on top of the van, you know, I was anxious that maybe it was going to be sold out or there's FOMO in there and all those kind of things. So we call these emotional drivers, and we're always, in any piece of content, we're thinking, how can we use these emotional drivers to change things? Okay, so when you're thinking about what the emotional drivers for your brand, it's really worth that exercise. Like, why would somebody feel something about what I'm selling? It's really good. Now, at this point, somebody normally says, but I sell, I don't know, financial software or little widgets that go in a machine. Like, there's no emotion at all. The only thing we can do is talk about the functional benefits and how it saves money or whatever. But there is always an emotional driver. This example, I mean, no disrespect to Talia, but they sell the dullest product ever. They sell electronic invoicing software. And they have gone, okay, how on earth can we get people to feel something? And they've gone for this kind of like slightly humorous, slightly FOMO-y kind of thing. But you can see that there's always a way to do it. So it's a great example of how everybody can get emotional drivers.
When you don't invoice electronically, you spend time manually inputting your invoices. When you spend time manually inputting your invoices, you get a repetitive stress injury. When you get a repetitive stress injury, you ask for time off work. When you ask for time off work, the intern fills in. When the intern fills in, he does a better job than you. When he does a better job than you, he gets offered a job. And when he gets offered a job, he becomes your boss. Don't let the intern become your boss. Allow suppliers to submit free electronic invoices through Talia.
Okay, it's silly, right? But it's funny. It's always there. And a tongue-in-cheek recognition that actually the only reason you're going to use this is because someone might get your job. That's a real powerful emotional driver. Okay, everyone likes that one. It's always good. I think I've shown that more in conferences than anyone's actually ever watched it through the company. Okay, so we've talked about why video works, because we can connect emotionally with people. We can make them feel something. We can drive behavior change. That's the fun stuff. Now, because I'm a thing where people want to learn practical takeaway things, we're going to do some very simple models to help planning, and then we're going to look at making better content. I've only got 12 minutes left, so I'm going to get through it. So we talked about emotional drivers already. The next one I want to talk about is the sales funnel. So putting aside all the fun stuff for now, let's just talk about how we use video through the sales funnel. Now, you're all marketers. You don't need me to show you the traditional sales funnel. Mass media at the top, make a sale at the bottom. Okay. I argue very much that the contemporary digital sales funnel, the content funnel, is this shape. We have media going in at the top, where we collect people. In the middle of the thing, people hang around for a long time observing our content. And at the bottom, we are looking to drive a sale. If you can afford to advertise at the Super Bowl or you can do TV, then the top of your funnel might look like here. But actually, for me, it's becoming much more like this. It's becoming a much tighter thing. So if we look at the top of the funnel, the awareness stage tends to be quite narrow now because we're doing targeted ads, we're doing targeted Facebooks, we're doing very niche blogs, all those kind of things. At the top of the funnel, we are an advertiser. We are making content that has been paid for, that is pushed into people's feeds. People don't choose to watch it. We're just shoving it into their faces like, come on, know us, know us, know us. And that's where we are at awareness. The next thing we move down is into the funnel. We become a publisher. We're not an advertiser anymore. We're a publisher. And here the content is earned because people want to read it. It's really good. It's entertaining. It's valuable. And this is where people spend a lot of their time. Okay, as we all know, we're all content marketers. They might be there hours, months, years, whatever. And at the bottom, we're a salesperson. We're looking to drive that thing. So you will know that model. It's very obvious, but the reason I do it is because I want to start thinking about how we can put videos at different parts of the sales funnel to drive people through it. So what we need to do is think about, where is your problem? Do I have a problem with awareness? Does nobody know who I am? Or is it everyone knows who I am, but they don't understand who we are, in which case you've got a consideration problem, so we need to make content for that. And also, or everyone knows who we are, they know everything we do, but they're not converting. So we've got an action problem, we've got a conversion problem. Now, the problem when we start thinking about content is the temptation as marketers is to look for the perfect piece of content that is going to do all of this. Right? We're going to make a 2-minute brand film or a 30-second film, which is going to solve our awareness, solve our consideration, and you end up with one of these. Now, I don't know what the word is in Greek for one of these. In English, it's spork, which is a spoon and a fork. What is it called in Greek? No. Okay. Is it a good spoon? It's not a good spoon, a rubbish spoon. Is it a good fork? It's a rubbish fork, right? As soon as we start making content that tries to do too many things at once, it becomes a spork. It becomes a rubbish spoon and a rubbish fork. So really think about what you're trying to do, where you are in the funnel, and which specific problem you have, and take it from there. I love the spork thing. It's a really good one. It's really, don't make sporks. Okay, think about your problem. Is it an advertising that I need? Have I got a consideration problem, or do I need to drive action? Okay, so we've done that. We've understood emotional drivers, which is how we're going to make people feel. We've understood how we can do effective content funnel. The next thing is, what kind of videos are we going to make to put in this funnel? And I don't know if anyone knows the YouTube Hero Hub Help model. Okay, no YouTube nerds here, that's excellent. So Google basically sat down, YouTube sat down with an agency in London called We Are Social on the Adidas account, and they divided videos up into hero videos, hub videos, help videos. Okay, that's wicked, great for Google. It's not quite right, I've added in a couple more, volume and go. So these 5 video types are what you need to do a successful campaign across the funnel. And because it's a conference, I can explain them, okay? So let's talk about hero films first. A classic film, this is about creating emotional connections. It's about building brand saliency. It's about making people feel more than any of the others. Although arguably, we always want people to feel. Hero films is where it's all at. If we think about a Red Bull example, Felix Baumgartner, you know, when he went up in a balloon and we just watched him for hours, is he going to die? Is he going to die? Is he going to die? And then he just kind of went like that, and it was very boring. But that's a hero film, very expensive, very emotive, right? That's the top of the funnel. But below that, we have hub films. This is where we deepen conversations. They tend to be longer. People come back and they watch more. If we take a Red Bull example again, they actually did a big series called Who is Job? What is Job? Who is Job? I think it was. And it's a series following a pro surfer in their life, just mooching about being a surfer dude. And you could go every day and you could watch a new thing. So it was a hub thing. You'd come back. So brands need to be making that big emotional connection with the hero stuff, helping people watch a load of hub stuff that might be on your YouTube channel. It might be deep on your website. Next one, help films. Super, super helpful. The most underrated kind of films. They make you an indispensable resource. So we make random films about how to use barbecues, and they get 250,000 views organically because people don't know how to use a barbecue. So it's like, they're really, really good. Help films answer problems. They make sure that you pick up search, they deepen conversations with people, and it helps you get found. So those 3 particular pieces are really good. Okay, so there we can see how we can use hero films, maybe hero films to drive awareness. We might have hub films, which are help films to drive awareness. And through the funnel, we can use different types. But the other things we need to think about are just straight volume things. And we're going to be talking a lot about TikTok, and we're talking a lot about social media. And sometimes you just need to have a video of someone eating marshmallows for 2 minutes. Because that's volume. Sometimes you need it. And there isn't necessarily a big emotional thing, but it sits alongside it. So we need to be thinking about volume content. And then finally, we need to think about Go. And Go is the most important piece of content. People don't tend to do it. It sits right at the bottom of the funnel. And this is where we take all that lovely messaging that you've given, all the big stories, and we drive people to do something. We drive people to convert. So as an example, this is something that I made for Salvation Army Shelter is a UK homeless charity. They help people who don't have anywhere to live. We did a big paid advertising campaign, we did a big social media campaign, and it was all very well, but actually we needed people to donate. So this piece of content was specifically a summary and then a call to action.
I never envisaged that I could be living on the streets. Certainly was not well enough. I was vulnerable, and I'm very thankful to Shelter. They were a big help to me. This Christmas, please donate to Shelter.
So Go content is just about that last end frame. It's give me your money, donate, send, do whatever. And it's best if you can get the call to action to link with your emotional driver at the beginning, just going off topic a bit. If your emotional driver is about saving money or not losing your job, then that should be the emotional driver at the end. Give us your money or buy now so that you don't lose your job. Try and connect those two together. Okay, we are smashing through. We've got 5 minutes left. How to make better videos, how to make better stuff. EFA is the most useful thing that we have come up with in terms of how to make better content. And it simply stands for emotion, fact, and action. And you can use this in video, you can use this in blogs, you can use it in whatever you want. It's really simple. A video or any sort of content should make that emotional connection at the beginning because it's where we pull people in. Then we have to give them some facts, we have to tell them some stuff, as fewer facts as we possibly can, and then we need to drive action that's related. And just as a little way that we do this, if I'm doing a sort of 30-second film or a 2-minute film or a 6-minute film or a 10-minute film, it starts with one post-it, which is where we put our core reason to exist. This is what we're trying to say in the film. And this is how you avoid a spork, right? You just have one core message. Then we put up a load of post-its, emotion, fact, and action, and we stick up all the emotional reasons why somebody might buy your product. We put up all the facts, and this is normally where someone from all the different departments say, oh, we have to say that it's this, and we have to, and suddenly the video gets longer and longer and longer and longer. And at the end, we put up all of the things that we want them to do. And then we ask, so what? And we point at the core message and we say, is all that stuff that's in that board, do we need it? And eventually we strip off all the post-its because they're not relevant, they don't directly relate to what we're doing, and we end up with emotion, fact, and action. And it works really well. I was going to show an example, then we'll go over. Do people want to see an example of that, or should I just push on? Yeah, cool. They get to watch a cool video, right? So this is another homeless charity that I work with in the Salvation Army in the UK. It's about 60 seconds long, and you can see the emotion, fact, action. At the opening, we tell this kind of emotive story, and then we tell the story of the homeless person, gives us the facts about what the Salvation Army have done, and at the end, we drive people to take action.
On the street at Christmas, it can be devastating. The depression can really kick in. I became homeless when I was 15, and being a young man on the street at that age was really difficult. I was on a self-destruct course. I tried killing myself every which way you can think of. That's why the Salvation Army, when they come forward, there was such a glimmer of hope, because when you're on the street, you don't see a way out of any of it. They give me a home in the first place, so I got somewhere I could put my foot down, got an anchor to stop everything spinning out of control. And it was the hand that I needed to pull me out of the mud. Now the future holds whole different sort of prospects. My daughter's come back in my life. Although it's wide open, I owe it all to them guys. The Salvation Army has helped me so much. Please make some donations to help them help other people.
Right, really obvious. Set up the problem, give the facts, what we did, drive big call to action. I've got 1 minute 54 to talk about durations. So I'm going to do that. How long should a video be? And I've got the perfect answer, because everyone wants to know how long a video should be. A video should be between 15 seconds and 45 minutes. You can write that one down, right? It really depends. It's a really annoying answer. But what I can say, and I've got 1 minute to explain this, right? Less is more. Unless you're doing mid-funnel, long-form conversion content, or you're doing you're trying to smash the SEO on YouTube and you're doing long-form for that. Less is more. I've got 1 minute. I'm going to try and explain this. We've got 2 videos on here. The light blue video at the top is 30 seconds long, and the dark blue one is 60 seconds long. And we have an engagement rate by time. So engagement rate up the side here, 100% engagement rate at the top, and we've got duration, 60 seconds. If we look at what happens on the green film, the 30-second film, engagement rate drops by 25% in the first 6 seconds, then it levels off. By about halfway through, you've got half the audience left. So you end up with half the audience. The other film, massive drop-off of engagement rate. We drop off to about 50% in the first couple of seconds. You can see this here. We've dropped off massively. By the time we get to 30 seconds, we've got under 25% of the audience. And by the time we finish, we've got about 20%. The interesting thing about both of these things is based on a study by Wistia. Both videos, the first 30 seconds are exactly the same, right? So they showed this to thousands of people. So what's the difference? Why are so many people dropping off the 60 instead of the 30 when they're exactly the same? And the answer is simply they're going, oh, I can't be asked. They don't want to watch. They see the timeline and they don't want to watch a 60. So people are going, well, it's only 30, so I will stay till the end. So it's worth being shorter simply because you have to make a decision. Do I want to spend less time, tell less of the message to more people, or do I want to sell all the message to everybody? And it's a delicate balance, but for me, if you're driving awareness, what you're looking to do is you're looking to tell less of the message to as many people as possible. And if you're trying to do consideration, you can deal with less people, but tell more of the story. Okay, so there we go. We've learned loads. We did why video works. I gave you some models. We talked about making better content. There's some websites and stuff about me. You can see me on other things. Thank you very much.
I got stuck in consideration just back there. So, okay. Clearly, we solve all of the marketing problems like that.
Yeah.
But where do we start, actually?
Okay, where do you start?
Yes, we have awareness, consideration, and action.
Yeah. I think.
Where do we start?
Okay, every brand has a specific problem, right? So where I would always say that you need people's attention before you do anything else. So I would always start with the awareness. I would put as much of your budget as you can behind paid. I would be looking to make as much noise as possible. But very quickly, once you've got attention, you need to tell people a fuller story. You need to give them more information and give them what they need to make that decision, because everyone knows who you are, but no one cares. That's not a good story either.
Is it good to have premeditated and know all of your steps?
Yeah. I would be having a content calendar that has got content in all of those steps before I start any of them. Because you get something, you drive them somewhere, there's nothing there, they leave. You know,
or you fine tune, but you know where your problems are. What's the best thing to have in mind? This is a question from the audience. If you are a content creator, should you focus to go viral or just stay consistent?
What was the first? Should you focus on?
If you are a content creator, is your aim to go viral with all of the content?
Viral?
Viral.
Viral, okay.
Or stay consistent to the message and to the brand?
Okay, going viral is kind of out of your control, right? I mean, I did a LinkedIn post last week that went viral and it was the weirdest thing ever, but you've got no control over it. I would say consistent. Firstly, when you're starting out, you need to get the algorithm on your side. So you need to be consistent. You need to be putting it out there. It needs to know who you are. It needs to know which niche you're in, what you stand for. So definitely consistency. And then you can build virality on top of that. But if you just shoot stuff out looking for that viral hit, you might get it. And you'll go like this, and you'll go like this, and you're done. Whereas just be consistent.
Okay. We have one more. We have time for one more question. So please get in Slido and write
2 minutes 45 left.
What we saw already is very good quality, very high technical approach. Is this something that the brand should aim for, to have like a very high quality, tech standard, high resolution?
That's a polite way of saying, can I make it cheaply? I think that's normally the question I get, is how do I make this with no money, right? But you can connect emotionally for no money. You know, if you've got a good plan, you know who you're talking to, you know what your emotional driver is, you don't need high production values. You just need to start with figuring out who you're talking to, why you're talking to them, what you want to do. And then you can film it on your phone. It doesn't matter. But it starts with the plan, basically. But
can you grab your mobile and just go film?
Well, no, because that would mean you haven't got a plan. You need a good plan first. You know, I think you need to figure out who you're talking to, what you're trying to make. It depends on what you sell as well, right? But if you're in the middle of the funnel and people just need to know more, and you're in a business-to-business thing, There's no reason why you can't grab your phone, go and do some interviews, go and do some talking heads, just to fill the content. You might never make a brand film, but mid-funnel stuff, no problem.
Okay. Do you see brands focusing on technology and quality and forgetting about the context of the content?
Yeah, you see brands all the time going, what people need to know is that we do this and this and this, and nobody cares. Nobody cares. It's like we need to make people feel stuff.
One more question.
Yeah.
You can ask the audience anything you want.
What's that? Did you got any?
Ask the audience anything you want.
Did I speak in English too quickly?
Yes.
I'll take that as a maybe.
Thank you,
Right, thank
Jon.
you.